In previous videos you could see us landscaping around, taking down trees for good reasons, mapping the native trees and protecting them, and all this to recover the ecosystem and make our land more fire resilient in the long run. But we still have a lot of work, so in this video we are gonna improve a little bit more our land. Welcome to a new Project Kamp update. Currently we are at the top rock area of the land. It's a very rocky underground with several types of vegetation. Over there we have more the dense Mimosa area, which by now we kind of know how to tackle that one. But here we have a more open space with many ferns and native trees in between. I can explain you this a bit better if we have a look from the top. To give you context, here is base camp. Here are the big rocks on the top of the land. And this is the area where we are gonna clean, because it has the most native trees in the whole land. And we want it to become a native forest. The reason why we are here, on this part of the land, is because next door we have a big eucalyptus farm from the neighbors. Very flammable that we cannot do anything about. But what we can do something about is how we treat our own land. So for instance, this native tree, the cork, has been surviving the fire in 2017. And it's still alive. This gives us an idea of how strong native trees can be. So we want some more of them. Over there you see a madroño. This madroño is now surrounded by mimosa, but the mimosa is growing 2 meters a year. So in a bit we don't even see the madroño anymore and it will not get enough sun to grow. So this area makes us needing to deal with a couple of species. For example, this eucalyptus, a flammable one, very fast growing. And then we have another of that, the mimosa. Same, flammable and very fast growing. So we want to control them and see if the other ones get space enough to grow up strong. So even after the fire in 2017, the land didn't get cleared. So there is still all the dead wood from burned trees laying on top of the native trees that are growing up now. Lot of dead wood here. And then we have these ferns. They're growing very fast, they produce shade. But is it good or bad? We don't know yet. To be figured out. So now we're currently at the bottom part of the patch that we are gonna work on. And it's close to a very dense mimosa patch. But we are including this area because we still have a lot of native trees growing that we would love to include into the native forest. Look over here, the castañeiro. Okay, so that is the work. Quite a lot, and we are in high summer, which means that it's very hot already. And in this space we almost have no shade. So it's quite important to find a healthy way of working this area. Besides that, we also cannot all use all the power tools, because it's fire season. How to take this approach? We don't know yet. But luckily we are a big team at the moment, so let me introduce you to some people.
Hello, my name is Alon. I'm 28 years old and currently on a trip across Europe in search of a new place to settle and call home. As you can probably already tell, I truly live for danger. You'll often find me participating in some extreme sports, such as sewing, a job well done, gardening, and drawing the occasional masterpiece. Nature is where I feel my best, and I'd like to live simply and sustainably in the future. So I've come to Project Kamp to learn about this way of living and to see the challenges I may face myself, as well as to help out wherever I can and gain some new experiences.
Hello, my name is Doris. I'm 26 years old and I'm from the Netherlands. I am a painter and also do poetry and spoken word. I grew up in the middle of a city and nature was something I knew as the grass between the pavement tiles. I really longed to be in nature for a longer period of time. That is why I came to Project Kamp. Living with much less comfort and materialistic things is really inspiring to me, and to see how creativity flows from that.
Okay, enough chit-chat. Let's get back to work.
Oh, that's nice.
Morning.
You almost got me. Buen dia.
We checked the fire risk map for today.
Here are the fires. And here, next to us, so we are here. Here it's also really dark. Very, very, high risk, let's say.
But first we need some tools. Brush cutter, saw, other saw, lopper.
This morning we got up very early to start really before the heat is there. We're gonna clear this mimosa part to create some space for us.
We divided the whole area in 3 parts. This part we call it bottom mimosa. Okay, now it's time to start. We started by chopping most of the small mimosas to access the area with more native trees. Once we open the entrance path, we are able to access this section and continue working. And here we start to see the native trees.
So it's 7 in the morning. And how are we guys feeling?
Excited.
Wonderful.
Energized.
Yay.
Let's go free the oaks. Ah.
As you can see, it's really hard to get around here. That's also why we are making these paths. A lot of dead trees fell on the young ones. That wood we got into piles.
Dead trees going out.
So as you may be able to see behind me, we actually found a whole line of smaller oaks. So what we're going to do is to free up some space around them so that they can hopefully grow into a strong native forest.
Did you guys find a new species?
Yes, we did.
What is it?
Ali, what is it? I don't know.
It's a madroñeiro, I think it's called a strawberry tree. But they have like a really bright red fruits.
Oh,
It's really
madroñero?
Madroñeiro. You can make
Madroñero.
liquor out of it.
Ooh.
We also had to figure out ways to deal with the heat. We found some tricks.
Sun has come out.
Is it getting hot, girls?
It is.
What's up, water boy?
Huh?
What's up?
Just doing my thing.
Water boy has company.
De nada.
In order for us to take all the necessary precautions to be fire safe, we always bring a bucket with us in case the brush cutters might hit a rock and ignite a spark. And it is also something that we use to help us cool down when it's really hot.
Maybe just one. Wait.
Let me squat when I put on my hat.
There's a bunch of oaks around, so everyone has kind of gone and picked a oak to clear. So I am trying to clear this one, and I think there's another one hidden here behind me. So hopefully in half an hour or so I have plenty more space.
Ingrid,
Yes.
how do you feel about killing all the mimosas?
Conflicted. I know that people have an issue with the mimosas, but I only arrived a week ago, so I feel like I need a bit more time to... But they're beautiful trees as well, so... I don't know, but I'm glad we can make space for some other types.
So, how do you feel about killing the mimosas?
Yeah, a little bit. I think it's quite harsh to do so many at the same time. But then I know from last year that it's super good for the native trees to get some sunlight and to get really a chance to grow. And there's so many out here, so I can also imagine it to be like a big forest again, so that's kind of cool.
Okay, we only cleared a couple of square meters, and even though we only clear around the native trees, we have a big pile of green matter already. This one we would say it's already a bit too high to leave behind because of the risk of fire. What we decided now is to make smaller piles, and actually mainly on the water lines. So this is one of the examples. Here is a water line where the rainwater gets collected and runs all the way down. To stop this a bit, we would put the green matter over here in small piles, and hopefully it stops a bit the rainwater from flowing. Okay, so as you might see, we placed all the branches in the area where the water would flow down. And it might not seem a lot, but in the winter all the water will flow and it will hold more sticks. So bit by bit this will grow and give things like this little oak the space to grow.
So as you can see, we already took out a lot of the wood that was hanging around in the trees. We put it on the ground so it helps with decomposing quicker. However, there is still this huge pile of wood. So we're gonna find ways to use them and make the piles a bit smaller. We can also use it to place them around the native trees that we cleared, so it retains water and it helps also with recovering the soil. We don't take out all the dead wood because some of these trees are still attached to the ground, and there are actually quite some bugs and birds that really like that. So this one is gonna stay.
Besides placing the dead wood on the ground, we want to make an upgrade for the bugs. So we are making a bug hotel.
Oh shit.
We are going to use all of these different materials as VIP rooms that bugs like to go.
Okay.
So this is our new bug hotel.
We are very proud to present the grand opening of Project Kamp's first bug hotel.
I knew this would happen.
Yeah!
Okay, enough work for today. This day is finished.
Yeah, take off your gloves. That's a great idea. It looks like you're really relaxing there. Okay, so at this point we've completed cutting down the first section of this forest. We've cut down a lot of the mimosas and created space for ourselves to move around. At this point we have to cut our way up to the big rock, and this is where things become a little bit more treacherous as there is less shade, so it's a lot hotter. Plus we'll be working a lot around the Tojo, which is this very spiky brambly bush, and it can be quite painful to work with, but we should do quite fine.
So for this second area we called it Middle Tojo. Let's start.
Good morning, Mate.
Good morning.
We're like NPCs.
Not even that.
What do you think, Otis?
All right.
In the summer in Portugal, it is really only allowed to use power tools in the mornings as there is less fire risk. So today is a perfect cloudy and cool morning for us to bring out the power tools and continue to free some of the native plants.
Cutting these spiky tojos can be hard.
Alan, how do you feel about the spiky stuff?
It's like these spikes are made out of spikes.
How do your legs feel?
My legs are in pain.
They are. Yeah, they swell up, but it goes down after a nice cold shower, huh?
Yeah, they do.
Great protection.
And they can grow very big sometimes.
So the Tojo is really difficult to work with. However, we discovered that it's actually a great sign in the first step of regenerating a forest. So the prickly Tojo, it creates protection for the native trees and allows them to grow, and eventually as the natives grow and create more shade, the Tojo naturally dies down again. So we've cut some of the Tojo around the native tree to clear up a bit more space. And what we can do now is we can replace the cut Tojo around the base to strengthen the soil.
Oh ja, kijk. Dit is prima zo.
Up there is the big rock, which is what we're trying to reach. And on our way there, we're essentially creating pathways through the brambles and creating clearings around all of the native trees so that they have the space to grow and to flourish.
Let's go!
Let's do it!
After making the path, we unlocked a new area, so now we will start to work on the most rocky point of the land. We called it the top rock. In the map, it's right here. Okay, so here is another oak. Time to free it up. Okay, so now, as you see, we have not only an oak, but also some little pines, another oak around the corner, all freed up, ready to grow.
I didn't expect a helmet, but I will wear it for the YouTubes.
So we are almost at the top now. Right there we have the land of the neighbors, and over there, maybe in the distance, you can see the two big rocks. And here there's still a lot of dead wood lying around from all the dead trees. So today we're gonna clear that. Mate, do you feel ready?
Most certainly.
And again, we collected the dead wood in piles.
Otis, do you like being in the general help team? It's going really well.
It hit my leg. Yeah. That was so cool.
I know.
The trees. There are a bunch of branches that were on the floor that the ferns had completely covered, so hopefully they will have now more space and can grow upwards. So there's actually a couple of oaks and they have completely intertwined and seem to almost be growing out of the rock. So you'll often find in the middle of a cluster of young oaks an old dead wood from the fire 5 years ago, and all the new trees branch out from underneath and can grow. So we're still a little bit unsure whether to keep them standing or to take them down. So if we leave them standing, it is still a bit of a hazard, so they have a chance of falling over. So in some cases we're removing them and going to see how that goes, and other ones we're leaving up.
And we got a new tree!
Yay! Oh, what did you find?
I found a vertebrae of an animal.
Which animal?
I don't know, but it must have been quite big, I'd say.
Yeah.
Shark.
A shark.
I think it's a wolf.
We also found a lot of these clay pots here that were used to collect resin from the pine trees.
Brush cutting.
And down.
I can climb up, but someone has to catch me. No, this is going alright.
Damn.
Nice. Do a little dance, yeah.
So, the clearing of the third section is done. Okay, for now enough change has been made. We opened up a lot of space for the native trees. And with all these paths around, it would be nice to have some signs to teach each other about this area.
We're gonna make some signs for the native trees. We're gonna put the names on wooden plates so we can give some information about all the native trees we found.
What are we going to use for that?
Leftover wood. That's good.
Good materials.
So we collected some stones now. And now we're gonna crumble it with this hammer to make it into smaller pieces. Then we're gonna add some linseed oil into the pigment. I use linseed oil because it's a quick drying oil. So when it meets oxygen, it will absorb from a liquid to a hard permanent coating. It should be very durable.
Organize it.
Yeah, like that's good. Not very steady. We can fix it.
We can fix it. Look at that tree.
It is.
Okay, so the work is done. Let me show you what we did. We cleared, for example, around the native trees, around 1 meter. This oak, for example, was only visible from the top. It was fully covered by Tojo. We cleared all the Tojo around and now it has space to grow. So the same we did with this tree, also this tree. Here 2 trees more, and another one over here, and another one over here. And besides these, many more on this patch. So you might see some changes, but they're not very noticeable yet. The real big change will only appear in the long run, when all these young trees are growing big into a nice forest. But until that happens, they first need still a bit of shade. This is why we left some mimosas up and we took the small ones down. We also created some pathways in the area to access the spaces more easily. This for the maintenance in the future, but also to live a bit more in the area. Because when you spend time in the place, it stays way nicer. Nice roundabout. So for the future forest, we already placed some signs. This to identify the trees. For example, this Carvalho Sovreiro. But also many others, like so remember the Castañeiro in the beginning? All super clean. We placed all the dead wood around, so the bugs still have a place to stay. But they also got a city upgrade, which is a hotel. So with all the green matter and the dead wood that came from the area, we created some water retention lines. This to help the soil become more fertile and to not let everything run off. So here's some nice stairs for the access to the path. Some more water retention lines. So to give you an idea of the scale of this project, we worked with around a group of 7 to 8 people for around 5 weeks, and we spent like 400 hours on the land. So we did only the mornings. And with a lot of extra scratches, a lot of team building and understanding how to use the tools in such a big space, we did a great job. Okay, that was it for this video. The next video is going to be about the pig trailer. You can support us on Patreon and you can see it without ads. Or you wait 1 week and see it on YouTube. Thank you for watching.